Hi, everyone. Were you in the market for a new home over the last 12 months and feel like you've missed your opportunity to purchase? In this video, I'm going to cover what the market looked like 12 months ago, what it currently looks like, and what we expect to happen over the next 12 months. So as you can see, in January of 2022, interest rates were around 3.5 to 3.75%. During this time, we saw heavy buyer traffic and over asking on almost every single house with no seller concessions. As we got into the middle of the year, rates continued to climb and people started to back out of the market because they perceived a 5.5 to 6% interest rate as high when they were conditioned to think that 2.5 or 3.5, like it was during COVID, was the norm. So buyers left the market and said they're going to wait until interest rates come back down. As the year progressed, rates continued to climb all the way north of 7%, and there was hardly any buyer traffic towards the end of the year. Luckily, we've seen rates start to come back down, and we do expect that to continue over the next 12 months. So what I want to talk about is break down the math for you about what it looks like to buy today versus what it looks like to buy in a low rate environment, and as well explain what we've started to see in the market so you can make the right decision. Is it time to buy now or do you continue to wait? So I did everything here on a $300,000 list price with 5% down. So at $300,000 in the current rate environment, you are generally going to get the house around list price. 5% down is going to be $15,000. Okay. In a low rate environment, a lot of times we see you have to pay over asking. Could that be $5,000, $10,000, $20,000? We saw some crazy instances during 2020 and 2021 where people were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars over the list price just in order to win the bid on that property. As you can see, if we hypothetically are having to go $20,000 over in this example, you would be paying $16,000 versus $15,000. The main difference between these two environments, outside of having to go over to win the offer on the house, is the amount you're going to pay for your closing costs. In the current rate environment, and again, I did this both examples on 3% closing, that's going to vary based on your area. In the current rate environment, we are seeing sellers pay for closing costs for people. And in a low rate environment, they are not going to do that because that ultimately takes out of their net proceeds. So in the current rate environment, a lot of people are just bringing their down payment, or in this example, $15,000 to get into a brand new home. When the rates drop and there's a lot of buyer traffic, you then are bringing your down payment plus extra because you had to go over, and a lot of times people had to guarantee this $20,000. In addition, they're bringing this $9,000 for closing costs. And in general, in this example, we'll say that the net difference was about $10,000. Okay, that's the positive of this market, the negative of a low rate environment. But the opposite side is what does the payment look like now in a higher rate environment? So your loan amount, again, based off of 300,000, 15,000 down, would be 285,000 at 6%. That would make the principal and interest piece of your mortgage $1,708.72. Because we had to go over here and we still did the same 5% down, your loan amount is at $304,000 at 3.5% interest. That makes your principal and interest piece of the mortgage $1,296.84. Okay, that's a $411.88 difference between the two examples. So what does that really mean for you? How does that help you decide whether it's the right time to buy or not? Well, if we take 10,000 divided by 411.88, that gives you a 24-month break-even period. If you can refinance under 24 months, then it is much better to buy now than then, because this seller concession and the less out of pocket is what you're going to have that return on investment period on. So over the past 2 weeks, we have started to see buyer traffic increase as rates have started to come back down. So this week specifically, I had 5 clients put in offers. 3 of those were in multiple offer situations, and only 1 of them won the bid. We are still seeing a lot of properties that have been on the market. Sellers are willing to pay concessions, but that time for that to happen is not going to be for much longer. The expectation is by around April to May of this year, rates are going to be back down into the low 5% range, maybe into the high fours. And when we start to creep towards that, buyers are going to come out of the woodwork, and you're going to be competing with 5, 10, 20 other people for that property. And you're really going to have a lot of money liquid in order to compete at that point. What we're recommending people do, if you can afford that higher monthly payment at $411 extra, if you can afford that, go ahead and get into the house now, start to gain appreciation on that property and amortization on that property. And sometime around 12 to 18 months out, we expect we're going to be able to refinance your loan and get you back to this monthly payment, but you've now not had to pay all that extra out of pocket. The other benefit of the rates coming down and you getting in before they do, when the rates come down and that buyer traffic picks up, that increases the appreciation rate on that property. So during 2022, we still had a great appreciation rate annually, and it was around 9% nationally. So by getting in now, and then that appreciation skyrockets during 2020 and 2021, we saw that north of 20%. So if you buy this house for $300,000, in 12 months' time, if we see those types of numbers again, that house is going to be worth $360,000, and you'll be able to use that equity in the home to cover the cost of that refinance. So it's a great opportunity as a buyer to get in now. It's really the best buyer's market that we've had in quite some time. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My cell phone is always the best number to call me. It's 304-646-2323. And if you just have some questions, you want to shoot me an email, my email is tanner.graham@rate.com. Hope you have a blessed 2023 and look forward to working with you on your new home purchase.